When a congressman tells a city mayor to stop giving free houses to illegal aliens, you know it's not just another day on Capitol Hill. This time, it was Representative Gill from Texas going head-to-head with DC Mayor Muriel Bowser in a fiery House hearing that laid bare America's deep divisions over crime, policing, and immigration policy. In today's breakdown, we go over that tense exchange. What was said, what was dodged, and what it all means for Washington, D.C., a city under the national microscope for its rising crime and controversial social programs. Gill came in hot, and he didn't waste a second.
Mayor Bowser, thank you especially for coming here. You've been mayor for about 10 years, right?
Yes.
Okay. And during that time, would you describe D.C. as a safe city?
Yes.
You would?
Listen, Mr. Gill, and it was brought up earlier by the Congresswoman from
The murder
Detroit.
rate in Washington, D.C. is the fourth highest of any city in the country. Would you describe that as a safe city?
I have heard every statistic and factoid, and they're all different about where our city...
Are you disputing that Washington, D.C. is the fourth highest murder rate in the country?
I'm not familiar with that statistic.
You're not familiar with that statistic?
What I know, Mr. Gill...
This is your city.
Mr. Gill,
respectfully, this is your city.
From that moment, the hearing turned into a verbal chess match. Gill armed with data, Bowser leaning on political composure.
Respectfully, I know that we have driven our murder rate down.
What was the homicide rate in 2014 before you were elected?
I don't know.
Do you know how much the homicide rate has changed during your tenure as mayor?
I do.
How much?
It has gone up.
It's gone up by about 70%. It's gone up by about 70% from 2014 to 2024. Those are from the Metropolitan Police Department. That is correct. I don't think that number is correct. You should know the crime statistics for your own city, especially whenever it's this dangerous. Do you know how carjackings have trended during your time in office?
I know that they have gone down.
They're up over 500% since from 2014 to 2024. That's not a safe city. I don't think any person would call that a safe city. We'll move on. Do you agree that defunding the police makes our communities less safe, don't you?
This is what I want to say.
It's a straightforward question.
Yeah,
You're not going to filibuster. Do you think that defunding the police makes our communities less safe?
What I know is that people have moved here. People have sent their kids here. People have started businesses here. We have record.
Does defunding the police make our communities more or less safe?
Those are the indications.
Does defunding the police make our communities more or less safe?
Where people want to live, work, and visit.
You won't even back your own police department right now. I'm asking you, does defunding the police make our communities more or less safe? And you won't give me a straight answer.
I've already answered that today.
And why don't you tell me again, do you think that defunding the police makes our communities more or less safe?
I've never defunded the police, nor would I.
So you think it makes our communities less safe, is that correct?
I just told you, I've never defunded the police, and I never would.
I understand that. You know, you may not have defunded the police, and that's a good thing, but you did provide a $125,000 grant to an organization lobbying to defund the police. Are you aware of that?
What is that you just raised?
It's an organization called HIPS that you provided just this year, fiscal year 2025, a $125,000 grant to.
I think we funded them to do public health work.
Quote, "It's time we shifted to a society free of police and systems of incarceration."
We fund them for public health work.
For public health?
Yes.
Does this make our communities more healthful?
We
fund
them for public health.
Do you think defunding our police and lobbying to defund our police and undermine local law enforcement makes our communities more safe?
I've answered that
or helpful?
question.
Do you think that providing tax dollars to an organization who wants to defund our police is good for the residents of Washington, D.C.?
We wouldn't fund them for that purpose. We would fund them.
But you funded them, and you chose to give them money. You gave them hard-working tax dollars to an organization that wants to defund the police.
We fund them for public health.
This back and forth exposed a familiar tension between progressive city governance and conservative accountability politics. Gill framed it as hypocrisy, funding anti-police organizations while insisting you support law enforcement. Bowser framed it as nuance, supporting holistic safety initiatives that go beyond police.
Do you think that giving housing, free housing to illegal aliens is an appropriate use of tax dollars?
We think if it keeps people off the streets, then we have to keep people off the streets.
You agree with giving your residents tax dollars and using them to give subsidized housing for illegal aliens.
But Mr. Gill, we also didn't agree with the governor of Texas or Arizona busing people, tricking them to come to our city.
And it's
we
not,
didn't agree with that
surprising
either.
to me, because you're also funding NGOs that support free housing for illegal aliens.
And I hope you would agree that other governors shouldn't send people on buses that don't have any housing to our city.
Free housing for illegal aliens in your city. That makes your city less safe. I want to move on. In May of 2024, and this was referenced earlier, there were some major pro-Palestinian protests and sit-ins at George Washington University. This was during final exam season. They were terrorizing Jewish students. They were doing it for weeks. It was a major problem. The police were called in, and you stopped them from doing their job. Why is that?
I didn't stop the police from doing anything.
It is illegal for them to block a roadway. We've got the law right here. It's unlawful for a person, alone or in concert with others, to obstruct or incommode any street avenue. That's exactly what they were doing, and you refused to allow police to clear them out. Why is that?
That's incorrect.
Why would you stop police? Clear the record then.
I never stopped the police.
You didn't stop them?
No, I did not.
You didn't stop them. Would you like to explain what happened? Why police never cleared out this roadway?
Police did clear roadways.
They were there for weeks.
Police cleared roadways.
They were there for weeks.
Actually,
terrorizing Jewish
they were
students, and this was
probably
in your
on
city.
private property, not on the roadway.
No, they were on public roadways.
No, they weren't.
Terrorizing Jewish students,
they
and you
weren't.
allowed it to happen.
No,
I
they
yield
weren't.
my time back.
No, they weren't.
Gentlemen's time's expired. Yeah, we're gonna.
This back and forth exposed a familiar tension between progressive city governance and conservative accountability politics. Gill framed it as hypocrisy, funding anti-police organizations while insisting you support law enforcement. Bowser framed it as nuance, supporting holistic safety initiatives that go beyond policing. By the time the chair ended the exchange, both sides had drawn clear lines. Gill painted DC as a city collapsing under weak leadership and misplaced priorities. Bowser portrayed herself as a mayor, balancing compassion, legality, and complex social realities. Factually, Washington, D.C. has faced a steep rise in homicides and carjackings in the past decade. That much is true. But it's also true that crime data fluctuates year to year, and that the broader U.S. crime wave post-2020 has affected red and blue states alike. In fact, after Gill's questioning, the ranking member entered several studies into the record, including one titled The Red State Murder Crisis, showing many Republican-led states actually have higher murder rates than D.C. So both sides have ammunition, depending on which metrics and timeframes they choose.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I request unanimous consent to enter into the record this August 19th, 2025 article from the American Prospect titled, "The GOP states with guards deployed to D.C. have urban murder rates way higher than D.C.'s."
Without objection, so ordered.
I'd also ask unanimous consent to enter into the record this February 28th, 2024 study from Third Way titled "The 21st Century Red State Murder Crisis," which lays out the decades-long problem with high murder rates in red states and undermines the Republican myth that crime is their strong point.
Without objection, so ordered.
And my final one is from Newsweek, but I don't know the date right now. But this goes to what the gentleman was just talking about when he said that DC has the 5th highest homicide rate in the country. According to Freedom for All Americans 2024 data, DC is not on this list at all. It starts with St. Louis, and number 10 is Chicago.
Without objection, so ordered.